You just never fucking work. I am logged in. So. This app does not work. Okay, guys, I'm just getting set up here, being ready to go live here in just a second. In fact, Okay, guys, I'm coming now. I promise. That's totally fine. I don't have to. Let it do me. Let it do me. I don't think we're. I don't think we're anything. I don't think we're anything together. I don't think we're anything together. I don't think we're anything together. Okay, guys, now I'm back, and I promise this is going to be a really good MythLab for you guys today. Let me get this music turned down. Okay, I think that's the appropriate level right now. Okay, so let me get to the beginning of this because I have an interesting MythLab. At least I believe this is a really interesting MythLab for you guys. This is weird. You ever get on and you're like, oh, why are you doing different stuff that you never did before out of your software, right? Okay, so let's put that onto stream. And I'm hearing stuff that I don't necessarily want to hear. Okay. Okay. All right, guys. So today's myth stream, which I think is number 29, or excuse me, 21. All right, this is gonna mess with me because some reason I'm not supposed to be hearing myself the way that I'm hearing myself right now, right? And it's problematic because it throws my whole thing off, right? Okay, let me see if that's gonna make anything better right there. I'm just adjusting my sound here. And I don't know why this stuff ever changes, man. I really, really don't, man. I wish I could understand it. All right. And it didn't. And it didn't. That's odd. Okay. So I'm going to take my headphones off because I don't want to hear it now. And it's throwing me off. Okay. So I'm going to take my headphones off because I'm hearing two signals and I just want to hear me talking to you guys. I don't want to get caught up in it. So today I got a myth stream and I'm going to talk about 3 of my favorite shows right now because, not just because they're my favorite shows, but because what they reflect is some real cultural depth, right? Like all these worlds. Now, what we're going to talk about is obviously the world that comes from Primal. Let me get the TikTok going here as well. We're going to talk about Primal. We're going to talk about Invincible, and we're going to talk about Arcane. And I'm going to kind of break these down on levels where we understand why their worlds are so very different from each other, like what you get in each environment. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, like if I have to choose a world that I would live in, it ain't going to be Primal, and it's probably not going to be Invincible either. I'm probably just going to pick the safe bet here is Arcane's world. And I'll explain why. Like we'll get into it. It'll be abundantly clear why I want to live in Arcane world over this world. Like first of all, it's not just because the women in Arcane world are so much better looking, right? Like their art's better and it just feels better. But there's a lot of differences between these fundamental 3 worlds, and I'm going to get into the breaks of why. So I'm going to start off with talking about Invincible world, right? We see right here in the front, we got Omni-Man right up front, right? And he's the dude who really represents kind of what's going on, because when you get to Omni-Man, automatically you have to accept that there's a lot of alien input here. This isn't just us making decisions about what we do, right? This is where are you over here? This is the outside influences taking over our world easily taking over the world. This is what we find out about ourselves when you go to Invincible world. And I'm gonna break this down for you. Like we are not independent. Like when it comes off, it's different from like the boys. It's not like the boys because the boys, all the villains are right here. These are our own villains, right? That we kind of have to deal with. When we talk about Homelander, that's something that we put together. We did that, unfortunately. We created Homelander without any outside intervention from what we can tell from the series. And that's problematic because we create our own obstacles, but this is what it is. With this world, in this world, we have to find out right off the bat that we are not only not special, we're actually like not even strong enough to defend ourselves. That's actually what we are in this world. And I got an example. I'm going to show you guys something here. Why do I have all this stuff open here? You know, when you just have too many folders open, like now functionally I can't get to anything. So now I got to close everything out so I can then get back to the folders that I wanted to have open for you guys. But I got too much stuff open here right now. So let's forget all this stuff. Let's close a bunch of these down so I can get to the core of the nitty-gritty. Okay, now I have all my functional notes right in front of me because I wanted to show you this. So what what Invincible's world gave us was essentially this moment right here, right? Right? This is the moment that we get right here. You see this, right? That's us, okay? That's what we discovered, is that we're somebody's bitch. Just like my man here says it. Let me see if I can play it again for us, right? That's who we are. We're somebody's bitch. And the somebody whose bitch we are is the Viltrumites, right? We can see this here, right? And the Viltrumite society, man, they're no joke. Like, we've gotten to learn a little bit about the Viltrumite society, and like I'll get into them a little bit further, but this is the first thing that we reset in this environment, is that we're not only are we not special, we're not dominant, we're not even independent, and we're not safe. Because these guys aren't the only ones who are coming for us. Because there's lots of aliens that are out there. So this is the first thing, is that this is kind of a galactic structure. This is a who's who of who exists out there. So obviously we got the Viltrumites, right? And I'm going to bring you some information on the Viltrumites. Viltrumites, right? And it ain't no joke, man. This is like, oh man, I feel like it's, I don't know. I want to compare them like to the Kryptonians, but they're like, I feel like they are obviously way more gangsters than the Kryptonians. Even the most wild out Kryptonians, you're just regular among the Viltrumites. You wouldn't even be regular. Like Zod's mentality among them, you would not have even been extreme if you were a Viltrumite. That's what has like led to the Viltrumites' downfall, but has also allowed them to build this massive galactic empire that they have, right? I just want to pull up an image of some of the Viltrumites. You see, they rep the same uniforms. They're very structured. The Viltrumites, like, I mean, it's a brutal society from what we see, even for them. For them, it is a brutal society. But these aren't the only things out there. So the Viltrumites, so you know, these are basically invulnerable creatures. That's the reason why I compared them right off the bat to the Kryptonians. Because of that strength. Obviously, with Omni-Man, you look at him and you think Superman. Now, he doesn't have eye beams. That's one of the first. So he flies, he has the strength, he's invulnerable, all that stuff. These are planetary expansionists, extreme strength. They have flight, they have speed, they have extremely long lifespans. And their culture says that weakness is not tolerated, even among their children, right? This is as a species, they've been doing this to people for like hundreds and hundreds of years, to the point that, you know, the rest of civilization is tired. Everybody else is tired of these assholes already, right? So they take strength equals your right to rule, and with their incredible levels of strength, they feel like they've got it, right? They don't explore planets; they just take planets. Everybody they roll up on, it's a beef, and they're assuming that they're going to take you. And so far, they've only had a little bit of resistance. Now, opposite them, there is the coalition of planets, and with the coalition of planets, you get a whole bunch of, obviously, a coalition. So you get all these different species. And I'm going to pull up one here, Invincible Alan. So you get all kinds of different species. Like one of our main heroes in this is this alien. I think he's Flaxian. I'm not sure. I can't remember whether he's Flaxian or not. But I'm going to show you this guy here. And this is kind of what you got to deal with all the time, is that there are aliens that are out there. They're all stronger than us. How we're even developing superheroes, I'm not even sure how we develop superheroes, but we do have superpowered beings that do come to our rescue. But I know that with Rexplode, which is a ridiculous name, he was given his powers. I think he had, so I don't know how Eve developed her powers. It seems like they're coming from regular people. So the coalition of planets is like multi-species alliance resisting the Viltrum, because these guys are problematic on a massive scale. They're the only real opposition to this Olympic, this empire scale power. Then you have Martians, right? You have Martians that are also in this mix. So we're getting some old and some new that are mixed in with this show. And we got to deal with all of them. Now, the Martians are a real significant problem because they won't stop coming back. And you've seen these guys, like, these guys have at least appeared in every single season of the show, and they always get pushed back, not for a lack of effort, right? Not for a lack of effort are these guys not being, you know, they're on a different time or chronology, so they age differently than us. So when they get over here, they age extra fast. And we've used that a couple times to ward these guys off. But otherwise, they're not going. And all they do is, because, you know, their chronological displacement really kind of messes up, because they can advance technology-wise. So they're getting ahead of us technology-wise because their world is faster. So every time they come back, their technology is more and more advanced. So we have a harder time trying to keep up with them because we're moving at, you know, what relative to us, they're moving a whole lot faster. So we've got, you know, these Martians, you have these squid beasts, you have all this political structure. Like they are a cohesive organization that is bent on taking over this planet. Then you have the Flaxians, then you have the squids, right? So you have all these things. Earth actually has a global defense system. Let's see if I can pull this up, man. The Guardians, right? The global defense system is exactly, the Global Defense Agency is what they're actually called. And this is where you're going to see the guys that are led by like Cecil, right? So this is a good example of these guys. And they run these guys out here, and I never understood, like, they don't really give you a backstory on too many of the characters, so I don't know how they all individually got their powers, but we do know, like, at this point, it's not it's still rare for someone to have superpowers, right? It's still rare, but when someone does show up with superpowers, we're not like, ooh, how this person come from? We're ready for superpowered beings. They've been having superpower beings, you know, it seems like for a long time, at least from the very start of the show. It wasn't like superhuman beings were new in this world. They've always been there. They've always been here. At least from the start of this story. It starts off in that first season, like, you know, Omni-Man has to kill a bunch of them so that he can, you know, facilitate taking over the whole planet, right? That's exactly what they do. I'm just trying to get this image here so I can pull these up. I should have had these earlier, but I kind of didn't know. I guess I did know what I was going to talk about. I don't know why I would say that. But at any rate, I didn't have the images ready, but I'm getting it ready for you right now so we can take a look at this organization, because this is important, because this is all we got, right? This is what we got. Now, why we have these things, I don't know. I don't know if it's ever going to be revealed to us why we have these various creatures on the planet, but we do have these various creatures on the planet, right? And that was not, what the hell? What's that thing? Oh, the screenshot. Okay. All right. Okay. You know, these newer shows, man, they really control their artwork, so it's hard to get it. So you do have superpowered beings that are a global defense system, the Guardians of the Globe. This is our elite. Like, we have warriors too, and they're high level. Like, you know, that guy there, obviously, the Immortal. He's pretty powerful strength. He's gone up against Omni-Man on a couple occasions. He always loses, but he is in that fight. Most of the time, he's in that fight, but he loses consistently, and they're usually long fights. But obviously, his name is Immortal because he keeps coming back. So you get all these heroes. Like, heroes are very public facing. They have a whole, like, pipeline of young heroes that they're developing right now. When there are major global threats, they start calling everybody, right? That's their key. So they do have a lot of heroes or superpowered beings that they can pull from. Some of them are villains. So we have that, you know, all going on at the same time. You have these reanimated, you know, I got to grab a picture. I don't know why I didn't have these things, but you got to get a picture of, the reanimated. Like, they have these, this is another part of let's see, what do they call those things? They have a whole defense system, and they don't just rely on the heroes, right? Because the threats are too much. So what they develop here, and that's not good. Okay. Man, these are really small. I'm trying to find a good image of these reanimated men. Oh, that's not even a good one there either. Jeez. Let's see if I can get this one here. Because they have these reanimated men. So basically what they're doing, this is a pretty ridiculous premise in the first place. Because they just, there's no ethics, right? You know, and again, we got to defend the planet. We don't have enough heroes. So they're using these reanimated soldiers, right? So they're kind of dead in their technology, but these guys bang. They're super powered, and we just have a ton of them. And that's what we really need. We need a lot of them, right? So you have power systems that are divided. You have biological power systems like the Viltrumites, Alan. They're all natural creatures. They're not one biological system together. So they're all operating, you know, pretty much independently, right? So Viltrumites, some enhanced humans, doesn't say why we don't know why Eve has her power. We don't know why Adam Eve has her ability. She just does, and we got to be grateful for it. And I'm in the new season. It looks like she might have just lost her powers. I don't know how that's going to turn out for Eve or the rest of us. And then you have technology. You have alien techs. You have Flaxian technology. So we have high levels of technology here. So, I mean, you've got beings that can travel through dimensions pretty easily. Intergalactic travel is a ready thing. Advanced surveillance systems, rapid response systems, containment cells like energy containment fields, interstellar portal from the alien civilizations, portal systems. Like, whenever the Martians come back, they always just drop. They're not coming in a ship. They just drop a portal in the middle of a city, and they're right there. And it's really a problem because it's harder to fight these guys back. So this is what we get. Then we get a lot of hybrid tech as people reverse engineer a lot of the alien tech. Now, the Viltrumites themselves can literally fly through space. These are self-propelled beings. So they can survive the rigors of deep space, like the cold, the lack of food, or oxygen. Let's not forget about that. And they can get there. They can fly from planet to planet. They do it all the time. They do fly at great speeds, but even not flying at light speed, so it takes them a while to travel. Okay, the coalition has ships with organized routes. The Flaxians also have dimensional portals. Earth has developed like limited space capability, but we do have teleportation. That's something that Cecil uses all the time. Travelers determine who has control over the space. Like that's why it matters. And the Viltrumites can get anywhere so easily that one single Viltrumite for a planet like Earth is enough to be a planetary event. Him by himself. So if you get 2 or 3 Viltrumites, you can just fly as many as you want over there. They're a force. That's an army right there. Like we saw a Conquest. Man, this dude Conquest is out of control. See if I can pull him. Because they get tougher and stronger. And they never bow down to giving up. Like they love this stuff. They built their whole culture and society on taking over. So to not take over, failure is not an option for Viltrumites. Like they're really, really about that life where they will do anything at all costs. And other species have tried to wipe them out unsuccessfully. So this isn't the first time that as a galactic empire, they've run up against resistance. They've been able to handle it all so far. I mean, they were pushed to the brink a couple of times. They've been pushed to the brink when that virus gets released on them. They're absolutely pushed to the brink, right? So these guys are pushing to the max every single time. And unfortunately for us, I should say, they just keep coming back. They came from the brink of like, this was a horrible virus that they put down on them. But this is like one of their guys. This is Conquest. And I say his effect on a planet, man, it's like, obviously they're all, we equate Omni-Man to Superman, and they all have that same type of strength. And in fact, I think Conquest is even stronger than Omni-Man is. But we have ongoing threats in this world from all these various creatures. Everyday life for normal people, it can be normal for significant stretches, but it seems like as long as it's not popping up in your city, like we do get global threats, but more of the time, like these events are going to be, I'm going to destroy a city. I'm in New York. I'm in Istanbul. I'm in wherever, and the fight jumps off, and it's usually going to affect at least an entire city. Sometimes, a state or province or something like that will get caught up in the fight because they're devastating creatures when they come through and fight. But everyday people, so you're dealing with constant levels of everything's going to destroy. So regular people can't even understand the significance of the threats, like what we're actually seeing. They know that there are aliens showing up there, but everyday people don't understand what the Viltrumites are. They just see this massive destruction. Cities get destroyed. The collateral damage, like this is just normal. And humans are protected. We do have our systems of protection, but we are completely outmatched. Like that's where we are. We're the little guys on the totem pole, and there's just no way around it. Right? So now we got some heroes, and we see even half of our heroes are Viltrum himself with Mark and Oliver. Right? So this system, this is kind of where it puts it. Like we got, the Conquerors, you got Omni-Man, you got the Viltrumites, you got Mark and Oliver, you have the Handlers and Cecil, you have the disposable heroes who are the Guardians. They just throw them. I don't know how many of these Guardians have died, but they never run out of new Guardians to put out there. They got a whole list. Then you have experimentation. So we're seeing power adaptation, right? So humans have special abilities. Technology is enhancing humans, and also experimentation. So that's what we get out of this world. This is a colonized world. Like ultimately, this is a colonized world. And the problem is that other beings keep trying to show up to colonize us. And the Viltrumites are like, yeah, this is, Marie tells them, I think it's like season 3 or 2. And he goes to the home of the Martians and he tells them, this is not your world to conquer. This is my world to conquer. So how they don't know about the Viltrumites, like the Viltrumites are a galactic empire. So how they wouldn't know about the Viltrumites being out there and what planets the Viltrumites have lined up is completely beyond me. But that's how the Martians roll. And it's devastating. So you're constantly fighting, right? I mean, you're going to get a fight somewhere in the country every week, right? Every week or so, we're going to get a fight and some city is going to get torn down. I don't know if it's going to be Atlanta, Cincinnati, Baton Rouge. Any of these places can all be destroyed because we never know who's going to land where. And once they land there, that's when we call in the troops. And the fights are always devastating. You can imagine all these, like, Kryptonian level beings. You see in the Superman movies when a Kryptonian lands here how devastating it is for the planet. It's no different here, okay? Well, the next world I'm going to take a look at here is Primal. Primal is really off the hook. It's a beautifully told story because the director never uses words. Like, I think I've heard 8 words in like 4 seasons of this show, and that's all in this last season. So this is a world where you can see it. You have prehistoric Earth-like world, but they mix all kinds of nonsense in here. You get not only humans, right, from this time, prehistoric humans, and all like the little like variants of humans, right? Humanoids or hominids. I don't know. I can't remember. Is it hominids or humanoid that they call them, right? Various stages of human life from Neanderthal to like more advanced humans and actual culture and structure. Alongside this, you have dinosaurs, ice age mammals, advanced ancient civilizations that are there. Time is non-linear, so all this stuff gets compressed. You were like, you're a caveman, but these guys have captured navigation and can smelt metal. We see a kingdom. We basically see an Egyptian empire there. We see Norse culture there. So all this stuff is kind of layered together. Geographically, it's a landmine every single step that you take because you have volcanic wastelands, you have dense jungles, you have open plains, you have frozen tundras, you have vast river systems and coastlines, you have the ruins of ancient civilization, all there as a playground. And the terrain directly determines your survival, the creature dominance, and movement patterns within this world. So we see threats are nonstop. Lava flows, extreme weather, predatory territories, all this stuff that you have to navigate when you come and set foot in this world. It's not going to be easy. Now, the system is obviously you have a lot of apex predators, and it's easy to say tyrannosaurs, giant serpents, massive sauropods, pterodactyls or pterosaurs, which is air dominance. But there's always something else out there that doesn't even look like anything we've seen before that's also a threat. You see a lot of packs and herds, mammoths, raptors, other herd-based species all exist together. You see migration patterns as people move. You see emotional storytelling, even within like the dinosaurs, there is emotion there. You also have mutated creatures. That's why I'm like, it even gets worse. These are affected dinosaurs who have these plague-like transformations. They get overgrown, they're hyper-aggressive, they show biological instability is what's going on in this world. You have non-animal threat creatures like the ape man, the monkey man. I kind of see them as animals myself, though. And then, of course, you have like giant bats. We saw some of those. And all these like other hybrid, like giant boars. All these things that have structure and work together. They're not random in their machinations. Like the giant boars had a whole system, kind of a worship of their mother, which kind of makes sense. And then you have all these human and humanoid cultures where the breakdowns really have to be listed. You have tribal spheres, which is based on humans, small, vulnerable, family-based, no real infrastructure. You have mirrors people, right? We know mirrors people. They're more organized. They have agricultural elements. They have social structure. So they're showing early civilizational signs. Then you have the Viking Raiders, right? The Viking Raiders, and this was kind of a cool story. The Viking Raiders really clash with our hero and his lady Mira. And they show, I mean, they really do a great job, I feel like, of kind of giving us that like feel of what Norse culture, like a good representation of like a Norse chieftain. I felt like this was a really good representation of like a Norse chieftain. So you kind of feel all these things, all these elements that come about, right? You get chieftain. We got like an Egyptian culture. Let's see if it was really Egyptian. But it really looks Egyptian. Like everything they do, even the weaponry. Egyptian. Oops. Yeah. I mean, this is how, like, it to me, it doesn't, I can see how people would take the symbolism of it and immediately equate that as being Kemet or Egypt. And yeah, maybe it kind of works. What they're doing is showing us, you know, all these, so again, an advanced culture and advanced civilization, and you're a caveman or a Neanderthal, and you're dealing with this effectively. That's what our guy does. Then you have other Celtic tribes mixed in as well. So we see 3 major representations. We have Norse, we have Celtic, we have Egyptian. That's all in there. You have the ape men who are stronger than humans, right? They're less advanced. There is no real, like you have governments within each of these regions. The Norse, obviously, they had a whole tribe and kingship and chieftainship. The Egyptians, as we'll call them, had a queen. They were very advanced. They were seafaring. They were taking on just slaves everywhere they could go. Now, the technology is a little bit more limited here. You're mainly spears, clubs, fires, unless you have some kind of magic. There's not any other weaponry that you're really going to pull out. You know, you're going to fight with fists or teeth or whatever it is. And our hero goes through getting into a lot of just straight up fights, just trying to defend himself, right? Everything is kill or kill there. So you have some ancient tech, but it's hidden. You have stone architecture. You have ritual tools. You have organized construction. So these things do exist, but it's kind of falling apart. This is kind of when Thundar, like, this isn't the beginning. This is kind of the end and the resurrection period for humanity. You have witches. You have dark magic users. We've seen them reanimate the dead, literally bring people back to life. We see them like all these different species that they have this drink that enhances them. Someone brings them back from the dead. Someone else keeps enhancing his power so he can be a fighter for them. They have crowns. They have theology. So it's not, I know we call it primal, but it's really showing a lot of the early development of humans. We have humans who are cursed and transformed into other things. This is like science. Like magic is not as structured in this world. Magic is it's dangerous, right? Like in the previous world, there is no magic in Invincible's world. There is magic here. There's technology there, little technology here, but we also have magic and that makes up for it. So magic is actually kind of rare, dangerous, unpredictable. And this game is all about, like, how did you get around in this world? There's a couple ways. You could foot it. You could walk around. A lot of people did. A few were riding horses, like the Egyptians were riding horses. Or if you could find yourself a pterosaur, you could fly that bad boy. And we've seen plenty of people who were riding on pterosaurs that they domesticated like that, right? You have constant threats. So, but travel is basically slow. Either it's slow or you got a bird and you just swoop it in. For those guys, it's not slow, it's fast, right? And then you have all these other threats from the natural environment, like just normal stuff, starvation, environment, predators. And then you have the human threats, the raiders, the slavers, the rival tribes, and we have supernatural threats like witches, curses, unknown entities. So all these things exist. And then you still have biological issues like infection or mutation. So there's a lot. So everyday life was hunting, gathering, protecting your group, avoiding stronger groups, and moving constantly. That's how people stayed alive. Okay. So what this culture puts out is we see Spear, who is a survivor. You have the bonded beast, who is Fang. You have the raiders, who represent the Vikings. You have the Egyptians, who are also raiders and slavers. So this is a tough world. This is what makes this world really, really unique. The dinosaurs are raw and natural, but yet you can friend a dinosaur here. They have friends who are dinosaurs who roll with them. And it's like the first friend that he actually made outside of his initial family. And his family does get slaughtered out. So that happens as well. And I always kind of assumed he was more of like a Neanderthal type of character. So he ends up having a baby or conceiving a baby. We don't know what's going to happen yet. With Mira, who's very much a human, more modern human in look and how her culture moves. So this is all the stuff that we get here out of this world. Primal is a deep, deep, deep world. I would not want to be here on any single level. It's beautifully told. It combines all these like incredible elements of storytelling. But at the end of the day, this is not the place that you want to go and spend your time because it's rough out there, right? You can get eaten at any time. Everything is food, literally. So that's kind of how they go about it. Now, the last one I want to talk about here is Arcane. Now, Arcane is kind of the most normal world, to be really honest, because this world is more like I don't care about you. It's more I don't care about you than anything else. I don't know why it is that way. Let me see. Did I not put my notes here? I want to grab my notes on this world because it's super important. That's why I'm like this world. Out of all the worlds, I probably live here because it's more like the oppression that we already face, right? Like it's poverty. They do have technology, and their technology is really kind of mixed with their sciences, right? So I'm going to show a couple of images. Let me find some images. They have an incredible art style, which I think kind of conveys this world where magic is part of the scenario, but also It's wild, it's untested, it never really is in their control, and a lot of times they end up doing more damage to the people that supposedly they were here to save. Whether they're actually trying to save people or not, we never really know. But we've seen all these bad things happen as they're trying to control magic, to try to control this arcane energy in formats. And there's been disasters in the past. Like, they build technology around it, but there's been some real disasters behind magic. So there is a righteous level of skepticism that goes along with being in this world. Now, this world is heavy on plots. You have the Pilt over group, and then you have the regular commoner. So this is the governing body. This is about wealth. This is about influence. It's about laws, trade, and technology. You have the wardens, which are kind of the police force under them. They maintain order, like brutally. They will really get down. So that's one of the big things about this world, that they're gonna really be brutal in terms of handling like any internal dissension, right? So this is kind of how they're built up. They have this technology that's built on that crystal tech, right? And from that, you can get all this unstable energy that you can manifest and all these things if you can actually control it. So of these through, you have magic. I don't really know that you've got like the weird creatures and stuff like that. I kind of don't think so. Let me see. I may be missing something here. It's been a little while since I actually watched the show myself. But yeah, you got the hex gates. You have long-term travel. You have underground movements. You have struggling networks. You have all these things. All the political intrigue of a sci-fi story gets put in this. That's what they do. So they give you everything. You have the Zon citizens, who just us, the regular people who just live down there and go to work every day. And then you have all these different like antagonists along the way. Revolutionary, Jinx being a weaponized victim. Like, there's a lot that goes on there. This is not a world of magic. This is a world of technology. And I think that's what really makes it special among all the three, is that it's the most kind of relatable. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe people don't want to watch stuff that's actually related to their life, but it is the most reliable or relatable in terms of just how the world is structured. If you could live in there, it's tough if you're poor, but you can imagine, like, if you've been poor here, you can handle being poor basically anywhere. So that's kind of how I'm seeing it. So those are my three worlds. I want to just give a little breakdown on these. I'll get them all up on the site, and then I'm going to spend the rest of the day kind of figuring, I got a new ebook out, man. I meant to drop it. I'll drop it on you guys later. It's a myth. I just uploaded the story. It's a short kind of mini ebook, and I'm going to start having those pretty readily available. I'll get the first one up for you guys sometime today. It's on the Patreon, but I'll make sure I get the link in the video so you guys can go check it out. Otherwise, I'll be back with an evening MythLab, and then we'll get into some more mythology storytelling. Haven't been running that stream as much lately, so I will get back into it. But thanks as always for stopping in. Hit that like and subscribe, and then I'll be back to kind of twinkle your brains a little bit with some new stuff in mythology. And that's what I'm here to handle, your mythological queries. So I'm going to cut, let's go and cut the TikTok off right now, which I always do first.